All right. Hello, everyone. Shalom lekulam. I'm here with Anne Maxwell, who's a psychotherapist with over 25 years of experience working with children, kids, and parents, and adults. She's an Access Consciousness facilitator and co-authored the best-selling book, Would You Teach a Fish to Climb a Tree? And is also the author of The Keys to Magic, a play therapist handbook of family-centered play therapy. So before I say that in Hebrew, hi, Anne.
Hi, y'all. Thank you so much for this. I'm so excited.
Me too. Thank you for being here and in the world.
Yeah, you too.
תודה לאן שבכלל היא כאן ובעולם. אן היא... Me too. היא פסיכו-תרפיסטית עם מעל 25 שנה, והיא עובדת עם ילדים, מבוגרים, הורים ומשפחות. היא מנחה מוסמכת של אקסס קונשסנס, וכתבה את הספר יחד עם גארי ודוקטור דיין, שהוא רב מחר, והוא נקרא Would You Teach a Fish to Climb a Tree? האם הייתם מלמדים דג לטפס על עץ? וגם כתבה עוד ספר לתרפיסטים במשחק, שנקרא The Keys to Magic, המפתחות לקסם. So tell us a little bit.
Good morning. Hi.
Tell us a bit about your background, because personally, I felt like it's part of my story. So let's share that with everyone.
So free. Okay. I grew up in the United States. It's rare to grow up in a bilingual home, it was when I was a little girl, and my mom was French, and so I grew up knowing that different is different, that it's not right and it's not wrong, it's just different. Do you want to translate that, or how do you want to go?
אז ביקשתי שאן תספר לנו בעצם קצת על הרקע שלה, והיא אמרה שזה היה די נדיר בארצות הברית לגדול בבית שהוא דו-שפתי, והיא גדלה ממקום שבו היא ידעה ולמדה ששונה הוא שונה, הוא לא בסדר או בסדר. וואו.
So, something else, I've always had an easy way with kids and babies and animals. And when I was a girl, I remember I was 4 years old. Maybe I don't remember. Maybe my mom just told me and I created the memory. But there were twins that were crying, and nobody, and I said to the mom of the babies, give them to Anne. She'll settle them down. And so was a picture of me, I don't know where it is, sitting with these babies, and they stopped crying, right? Like I've always had that. I've always been that.
I'm gonna cry, so you better come to Israel. quickly. אז בעצם תמיד אין הייתה טובה עם ילדים ותינוקות ועם כולם, ויום אחד היא ראתה זוג של תאומים מאז שהיא הייתה בת 4, ואמרו לאמא, תביא אותם לאן, ויש תמונה שלה שהיא בעצם מצולמת עם התינוקות האלה, והם הפסיקו לבכות, פשוט בזה שהיא יחזה בהם. אז ככה שהיא תמיד הייתה טובה עם ילדים.
So I grew up spending a lot of time in France, and then I ended up being in national politics and one of the things that I did at the very end of my career was to work on behalf of a project that actually did get funded and did get created, provided primary prevention and early intervention services for kids who were known in this country at risk but who came from really poor and destitute circumstances to see if they were given the resources, their school performance could improve. So it was a $25 million project that we got.
Life-changing.
Yeah, it really was. There were 20 projects across the country that used dollars, and they served hundreds and hundreds of kids and babies and kids and moms.
Okay, let me translate that. אז בעצם היא בלתה הרבה זמן בצרפת, ולאחר מכן נכנסה לפוליטיקה, והייתה מעורבת באיסוף כספים, כדי לעשות תוכניות התערבות למה שאז קראו נוער בסיכון או ילדים בסיכון. בסופו של דבר זה תמך במאות אלפי ילדים, תינוקות ובני נוער, והצליחה לגייס $25,000? Million. Thousand?
Million. 25 million.
25 מיליון דולר.
That went to 20 projects across the country.
שהלכו ל-20 פרויקטים מסביב בכל המדינות. That is unbelievable. And also, I just had a conversation with someone who said that often, at least from what she feels in Israel, the budget, like it's always about the budget. One second. אז זה באמת אחד מהדברים שעולים הרבה פעמים בארץ, שכל שינוי שרוצים לעשות מדברים הרבה על התקציב, or they define why not, they say budget. I jumped a bit with the questions.
Senator Kennedy.
Yes?
Senator Kennedy was the one who was in the Senate. Anyway, that was back in the day. And then I always wanted to be with kids. So I went to graduate school to get a degree so that I could do that officially. So I come to school here in 1989, almost 30 years ago, and I never left. And I got my graduate degree in social work.
אז היא תמיד אהבה להיות ולעבוד עם ילדים, אז היא הלכה לקבל את ההכשרה לזה, זה היה לפני 30 שנה, ומאז היא לא עזבה. How lucky.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love it. I love it here. And since graduating, I've worked so I'm licensed, and then I also have a certificate in play therapy.
אז היא קיבלה הכשרה,
residential.
יש לה הכשרה בתרפיה במשחק.
So I've worked in residential settings and in-home settings and inpatient psychiatric settings all around the Denver metro area, and then a group practice, and then I started my own practice that was called family-centered play therapy. So I've been working with kids and families basically since 1989, 29 years, and I've been licensed for 27. So
wow.
And I discovered, so what else? I discovered Access Consciousness 9 years ago.
אז היא עובדת בעצם, one second, היא עובדת בעצם 30 שנה ו-27 שנה בתחום, ואז לפני 9 שנים היא גילתה את Access Consciousness.
And I'm a seeker. I've always been looking for something else to you know how you know that there's got to be something more than what's in front of you, it keeps you going, it keeps you not bored, I'm so curious about things, and And there was access consciousness. In the first class that I was in with Gary Douglas, he talked about kids with ADD, and he said, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just made different. I'm going to cry. And I remember just bawling, crying and crying and crying because that was me. It was so much of my caseload, the kids with ADHD and autism. And it changed my practice because everything that I tried to do with them that I'd been trained didn't work. Like all the behavioral stuff and all the cognitive work, it just didn't work. And I think that one of the things that
I'll translate it.
Don't talk about this. Okay, translate.
I'll try and remember. אז בעצם כל הדברים שהיא קיבלה הכשרה אליהם, הם לא עבדו, כל הדברים הקוגניטיביים, כל הדברים ההתנהגותיים, והיא עמדה שם בכיתה, וגארי דאגלס אמר, הילדים האלה, אין שום דבר רע בהם, הם פשוט שונים, וזה שינה את כל העבודה שלה, את כל הקליניקה שלה. And then
and what did work was the connection that I had with them.
מה שעבד בעצם היה החיבור שהיה לאיתם.
And even though they were in programs where they had to do certain stuff, I did what I could to mitigate it, to make it not so mean and not so hard on them. And then when Gary talked about, they're just different, there's nothing wrong with them. And in fact, they have incredible capacities and abilities that normal people don't have. It just exploded my whole world. And I got to see at that point, hundreds, probably thousands of kids that I'd worked with. And it was like that movie in Temple Grandin with the shoes, where and you just flashed through me, and it just gave me a completely different way of being with myself and with them, and it changed my practice. It changed my world. And I didn't throw away everything that I learned in school. Added these tools to what I had already been doing that was actually working.
וואו. אז קודם כל, היא לא זרקה שום דבר ממה שהיא למדה, אלא היא חיברה את הכלים כדי לראות בעצם מה עובד. וגארי דאגלס אמר, לא רק שהילדים האלה אין בהם שום דבר שהוא לא בסדר, אלא שיש להם מתנות ויכולות יותר עצומות וגדולות מאנשים רגילים. אז זה שינה את כל התפיסה שלה ואת כל העולם שלה ואת כל איך שהיא עובדת. ותמיד היה את החיבור הזה, והיא תמיד ניסתה לרכך את הדברים במערכות שהיה משהו קשיח או יעדים קשיחים, ופתאום כל הדבר הזה שינה את הכל. אז היא נחשפה ועבדה עם מאות ילדים, ואז הכל היה כזה טו, של לראות איך הדברים מתחברים. So I love the quote, everybody is a genius, but if you teach a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that
if you judge a fish.
If you judge a fish.
Futility to climb a tree.
So, as יש איזשהו...
That's who these kids are. They're like fish, and we keep on trying to teach them to climb trees and do stupid things like that, right?
As we're a fish also.
No, it doesn't teach you how to swim.
אז יש ציטוט שאומר שכולנו בעצם גאונים, אבל אם תשפטו את יכולתו של הדג לטפס על עץ, הוא יחיה את כל חייו באמונה שהוא טיפש. ואן אומרת בעצם מה שאנחנו מנסים לעשות כל הזמן, זה ללמד אותם לטפס על עצים, במקום ללמד אותם איך לשחות. וואו. So one of the questions I got lately is why the definitions were stuck together at the top of the book. זה הספר של אן. So how come the ADD, ADHD, OCD and autism, why were they packed together? אז אחת השאלות שבעצם נשאלתי זה למה זה בחבילה, הילדים, כאילו למה זה הושם יחד, ה-ADD, ADHD, autism ו-OCD.
They're very similar and they're viewed in a similar light from by educators and mental health practitioners and medical doctors. They very differently, their brains are wired differently, and they all have, every single one of them has special capacity that they're not taught how to use and then are made wrong for having a being.
אז בעצם הרבה מהם דומים והמוח שלהם מכוות באופן אחר, שבעצם יש להם יכולות ומתנות שאף פעם לא לימדו אותם איך להשתמש בהם, ורואים אותם באופן דומה אנשי חינוך, תרפיסטים ואנשי המקצוע. וואו.
So for example, kids with ADD and ADHD, and they, for them, unless it's something that they love, they cannot focus at a time. And even with things that they love, it's easier for them to have a lot of things going at the same time. In school, they're told that they have to focus and they have to pay attention and they have to concentrate. And they're not able to do that. What they do is be given more things to do so that they can get it all done in whatever order they want to.
אז בעצם בבית הספר אומרים לילדים...
In this reality, multitaskers, right? As kids, they're made wrong for that.
בעצם עושים אותם ללא בסדר, כי בבתי הספר חייבים להתרכז ולשבת על דבר אחד, אבל הילדים האלה יש להם קשב רחב, הם יכולים להתעסק בכמה דברים בו זמנית, ואז אם מוסיפים להם משהו, הם דווקא יוכלו לעשות את הכל ביחד, או בסדר שהם בוחרים, וזה יעזור להם עוד יותר מאשר להגיד להם להתמקד בדבר אחד, שבדרך כלל לא עובד, אלא אם כן הם ממש אוהבים את הדבר הזה, וגם אם הם אוהבים, אם יש דברים ברקע, זה דווקא עוזר להם יותר. And actually, as a special education ex-teacher, teachers are trained to take away all the noises and keep one thing.
Right. But distractions, they're called distractions.
Yeah, I didn't find the word in Hebrew. אז בתור מורה לחינוך מיוחד, דווקא בהכשרה, מורות מלמדים אותנו להוריד גירויים ולהוריד את ההסחות.
Right. It's cuckoo.
זה cuckoo. Cuckoo is international word.
Right? Oh my God. So yeah, and each of those diagnoses has similar thing that they're diagnosed. Diagnoses describe what's wrong, right?
אז יש בעצם...
Wrong and not right, and what you have...
יש בעצם מחנה משותף בדיאגנוזות ובאבחונים של מה לא בסדר, ומה כן צריך להיות בסדר.
Right. And they do it as a way of trying to describe, but there's so many points of view that they have about the behaviors that they actually dismiss something that's wrong and that needs to be fixed. What Gary offered, completely different view, which is that there's nothing wrong with them. They're just different and they function differently. They learn differently, respond differently, think differently, they emote differently. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just different.
אז בעצם שבאים לנסות לתאר בעזרת אבחון או דיאגנוזה, בעצם מכניסים מתוך כל נקודות המבט את מה שצריך לתקן, והנקודת מבט של גארי דאגלס היה שאין פה שום דבר שהוא לא בסדר, זה פשוט שונה, פשוט שונה. והם חושבים אחרת, והם לומדים אחרת, והם מדברים, מתקשרים אחרת.
Yeah.
So another thing that...
It changed everything.
זה שינה את הכל. I was just, anyway, talk about ADHD. I was really curious about your point of view on definitions.
On definitions?
Mm-hmm.
The diagnoses, you mean, these?
Yeah, like defining it, and then how does it? I don't want to put words in. So defining.
Well, the thing about having about defining something is that it then becomes that, and that doesn't match that can enter your world, mm-hmm. Right? Definitions are designed to keep sort of in a box, and ththey don't function in a box. They're so out there. You can't. They're like move.
אז שאלתי את אין בעצם מה נקודת מבט שלה על הגדרות. אז בעצם היא אומרת שאנחנו מגדירים משהו, אז זה נהיה זה, ושום דבר שלא תואם לנקודת מבט שלנו, שהיא לא ההגדרה, שהיא לא הקופסה, לא יכול להיכנס. והילדים האלה פשוט אי אפשר להכניס אותם לקופסה. זה פשוט לא עובד.
So one of the things that I encourage parents to do is to use the definitions and the diagnoses to the advantage of their kids to get services in school or wherever, if that's going to help their kids. You know what I mean? It's like, you make the best of whatever is out. And if your child is going to get better services with a diagnosis than not, then go for it, right? He doesn't anyway, this is a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about that I'm doing. Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to, because I'm coming to Israel. I've never been to Israel before. I can't believe I know, right?
I also can't believe it because I remember reading this. I think this was the first book I purchased, but one second, I have to say this in Hebrew first. אז אין מגיעה בעצם להשתמש בהגדרות בתור משהו שיעזור בקבלת תמיכה ושירות. אז אם זה משהו שאפשר להשתמש בו לטובתכם, להשתמש בהכי טוב שאפשר, לקבלת שירות, אז להשתמש בהגדרות האלה. So I'm saying it's one of the first books that I bought from Axis, and I was just wishing everybody would discover it back at the time. I think it was actually a few years ago. And then I looked you up and now you're here. It's incredible.
I'm so excited. I'm excited. Gary asked me to write a book, and he and דיין had already begun. And so I did. I worked with this amazing woman who edited Gary's book, and so we created this book. And I thought, this is one of my favorite stories. I thought that I was, have all these ideas about what you're doing, who you're doing it for, and like that. And I thought I was doing it for parents of kids and teachers, who have the kids in their classroom and a therapist and like that. And the first email that I got after the book was published was from a woman who said, "Dear Anne, I'm a 75-year-old fish, and I cried from the first page that I read all the way through the book, and I couldn't stop reading. Thank you so much. I wish you had been around, little girl." And I lost it. I just cried and cried and cried. No. Oh my God.
We're going to get a lot of teachers in class.
I know.
אז בעצם אחד הסיפורים שבעצם גארי ודיין התחילו לכתוב את הספר, והם ביקשו ממנה להצטרף, ואז הכל נשזר ביחד, ואן חשבה שהיא הולכת לכתוב את זה להורים ולילדים ולמטפלים, ובסוף היא קיבלה מייל ברגע שהספר פורסם, ממישהי שכתבה, אני דג בת 75 ולא הפסקתי לבכות מהעמוד הראשון, תודה, וחבל שלא היית כאן שהייתי ילדה. Exactly. So when today I read the sentence, what if we see, one of the things you write in the book is, what if we see what they see instead of trying to make them see what we see? And
exactly. And in the classes, that's what we do.
אז אחד המשפטים שיש בספר זה מה אם אנחנו נתחיל לראות את העולם דרך העיניים שלהם, במקום לנסות להכריח אותם לראות את מה שאנחנו רואים. ואין אומרת בדיוק, וזה מה שאנחנו עושים בקורסים. So you are arriving in Israel on the 16th, well, before the 16th. But on the 16th, there's going to be an intro called Creating Ease with Kids.
Right.
ב-16 לדצמבר יהיה ערב מבוא שנקרא יוצרים קלות עם ילדים.
It's for parents, teachers, everybody and anybody.
אז זה להורים, all parents, all kinds of parents.
Teachers, therapists, anybody who's curious about kids.
כל מי שסקרן לגבי ילדים, תרפיסטים, הורים, ילדים עצמם. On the 17th, approaching your kids when others think they are disabled. להתקרב לילדייך, ילדך, גם כשהאחרים חושבים שהם לקויים. A full day class.
And it's for parents, and full day class is for parents whose kids have been diagnosed with any of this stuff and who were maybe wrong for that, right? Who think that there's something wrong with them, that they have a kid like that, or there's something wrong with their kid, or whatever.
אז זה לילדים,
It's parents.
זה להורים שהילדים שלהם הובחנו והם מרגישים או אמרו להם שמשהו לא בסדר בהם. And actually there was a question about that from someone who was saying she doesn't sense any judgment from around and she doesn't feel the need to advocate for them. She actually desires to give her kids the tools to be in the world.
Perfect. We're going to talk about all of that. It's tools for parents and tools for kids tools that parents can teach their kids. I love having the kids in the class. Like, please bring your kids.
בבקשה תביאו את הילדים, אני מאוד אוהבת ילדים בכיתה, וזה כלים גם להורים וגם לילדים, וגם כלים שאפשר ללמד את הילדים. Sorry, I just had something come up, but I can't remember what it was. And then on the 18th, definitely different kids in your clinic and in your classroom. ילדים שונים בהחלט בקליניקה ובכיתה שלך.
And this class is for teachers and therapists who have these kids because they are so different. And you, either as a teacher or a therapist, you're one of the professionals that parents bring their kids to, or in the case of a teacher, that you're mandated by the state or the country, whoever, to have them in your classroom. And they're very different. And just to give you a different perspective on them, a different way of viewing them, some ideas about how to make it easier for you and for them and for the rest of the kids in your classroom, if you're a teacher, and as a therapist, how to basically create a connection with them that empowers them to be who they are and to do better. I mean, I don't know a teacher or a therapist who wants their kids to do badly, right? I just haven't met one. Some of them are sort of weird. And so it's just tools to help you do that, be that with them.
אז אני אומרת שהיא בעצם לא מכירה אף מורה או אף מטפל שרוצה שהילדים לא יצליחו, וזה ייתן לכל איש מקצוע או מורה או מטפלת את הכלים להעצים אותם להיות הם ולהיות יותר, וגם ליצור חיבור ויותר קלות, גם עבורם ועבורכם בכיתה או בקליניקה, וגם אם יש עוד תלמידים נוספים. Yeah, like a big shout is always about, okay, the teacher has 30 kids in class. How the hell is she supposed to deal with it?
Right. We're going to cover all of that. There are lots and lots of things that they can do.
אז כמו שאתם בוודאי יודעים ושמעתם ואולי אמרתם, אחד מהדברים זה יש 30 או 40 ילדים בכיתה, איך בדיוק אמורה להתמודד עם הדבר הזה. אז זה גם משהו שאנחנו נעסוק פה בכיתה. Let's start. I don't want to hang up. I've got all these questions.
Know. I am so excited to see you. Bring your questions, bring your kids, bring whatever. And if you bring your kids for the full day, bring toys for them or stuff for them to do. Kids get stuff a lot quicker than adults do. So they can play a game and still listen and get stuff, you know. And earbuds. Bring earbuds for them.
תבואו ותביאו את הילדים, ואם אתם מביאים את הילדים, אז תביאו להם מלא צעצועים, כי הרבה פעמים בזמן שהם משחקים, הם מקשיבים, וגם תביאו אטמי אוזניים. Earbuds to... Earbuds?
I love having kids in class. Yeah, earbuds if they have games that are noisy, you know, if they have games on their iPads or whatever.
לא אטמי אוזניים, אוזניות.
Yeah. But I love having kids in class.
אז אין ממש אוהבת ילדים, באמת שגם
kids are free. Kids come for free.
ילדים מוזמנים להגיע בחינם.
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay, cool.
See you soon.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Excited. Thank you so much. Okay. All right.
Wow. Thank you so much. Looking forward. As you can see, just lit me up. And see you soon.
Us 5 weeks. I'll see you in 5 weeks.
אז תודה לכולכם, אנחנו מחכים וממש ממש מתרגשים לראות אתכם. נתראה עוד 5 שבועות. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.